BWF solicitors, we take pride in our clients' service. As a niche law practice, we are conscious of the demands of our clients. We always offer a friendly, listening ear and sympathetic attitude. We've worked with thousands of people all across the UK in all areas of personal legal services. We have received great feedback and reviews from our clients. We are located at Seven Sisters in Tottenham on the 4th floor of the Anna House, right on top of the Victoria Line train station for your utmost convenience. We have a friendly office and provide all of the refreshments necessary while you wait to see a lawyer. We are dedicated to our clients and have a successful record of serving our clients. Solicitors of England and Wales are of high quality and are bound by the highest professional standards. We are officers of the court and are bound by standards of integrity, competence and conduct as part of our responsibility to uphold rule of law. Our solicitors and lawyers care about your case and are committed to providing the best possible service to you in the most considerate and careful manner. We hold 2 Law Society quality marks. Law Society accreditation helps to demonstrate that we have attained the requisite standard in the area of law and have the requisite expertise. BWF solicitors, we're here to help you with your legal services when you need us.
Victon Estates provides professional and reliable service to landlords, investors and tenants. Our mission is to ethically and honestly serve our clients. We won't make promises we cannot keep, rather. We present a clear picture of the reality we can offer. We are here to help you with long and short-term let, property management, cash buyers for quick sales, stop repossession and mortgage arrears. For all your property needs, look no further. Visit us at www.victonestates.co.uk or call us on 07448619711. Victon Estates, your property is our pride.
Good morning. Welcome to Hanging Out with Vicky Newton. Vicky, could you turn your camera back on, please?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome to Heritage TV. We are hanging out with BWF solicitors on the Legal Hour show, coming your way every Saturday at 12 noon. I hope you are having a lovely, morning, mid-morning. And I believe that, as usual, you'll be learning a lot from today's topic, which is applying for right of abode in UK. As usual, this program is sponsored by BWF Solicitors, Victon Estates Limited, and Eagle Heights International School. Please share if you're watching us live. Share to all your contacts. And I also would like you to contribute to this program, which makes it more interesting. Just send in your questions on Heritage TV platform on Facebook, and also on BWF Solicitors on their Facebook page. We'll be able to pick all those questions up, and our special guest, Mrs. Eunice Achampong, will be able to answer all your questions. If you want to contribute to the program live, call us on 0744 8619 711. The number again is 0744 8619 711. As usual, I'm your host, Vicky Newton. Let me quickly introduce Lawyer Eunice. Hello, Lawyer Eunice.
Hi, Vicky. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I am doing well by God's grace.
Beautiful day, isn't it?
Oh, of course. I'm hoping the sun will come out. It's warm, but I'm hoping the
Yeah.
sun will come out. Yes.
Mm, But how has your week been so far? Is it still busy as compared to, end of July with
Before
that
30th
deadline?
June.
Yes.
Well, in a good solicitor's firm, it's usually busy unless, obviously, you haven't got much clientele. So with us, as we thank God for the fact that we still have people coming in or people instructing us remotely. So yes, on a good week, you will be busy. So that's one thing that we are always grateful to God for. And so in terms of this deadline that you mentioned for the 30th of June, we know that the Home Office has given much ground for people to now make the applications if they were not able to do so before the 30th of June 2021. So we are thankful that at least they've given some leeway or they've given some flexibility in terms of people putting in those applications after the date. So there's no deadline, which is also a good thing. So it means that people who were unable to do so have to prove one of the reasonable grounds, whether they had compelling reasons why they could not make it during the period of time, which was the grace period from the 1st of January to the 30th of June 2021. So if they are now able to make the application, they can provide their evidence for reasonable grounds why they couldn't do so before the 30th of June deadline. So it's still open for people to make the applications if they are EU citizens and they were residing in the UK before 31st December 2020. So they can make the applications for themselves, for their family members, those that have retained their rights or those that have derivative rights of residence can now make the application if they have reasonable grounds why they couldn't do so before the 30th. So that's a good thing. And I think a lot of people who may not have been aware could now fall back on these reasonable grounds to be able to make those applications. Yeah. And also another
Okay.
thing, I think that in terms of those people that came on visit, for instance, from last year, we know that due to coronavirus, there were so many applicants who were unable to return due to travel restrictions and sickness and the rest of it. And so they've extended that deadline up to the 30th of September this year. So if you have any visit visa and you could not go for one reason or the other, and it's still valid, and you want to apply for an extension up to the 30th of September 2021, you can still do so by sending an email to the assurance team, the UKVI assurance team at homeoffice.gov.uk. And in so doing, of course, you will be able to then have your visa leave extended up to the 30th of September. And most people who have had these extensions have been able to either switch to the work permit route or switch to the student route, which you would not have been able to do so before, should I say, March of 2020. So it's a good thing that due to these coronavirus concessions, people who came last year and have obviously applied for extensions can make their applications from the UK to switch to a work permit visa or a student visa or even a family route leave to remain. So it's also another good thing for people who are currently here on a visit visa who would want to extend their leave in one way or the other. So yes, I just wanted to give a bit of
Okay.
update.
That's great. That's great. Before we delve into the topic, usually I would like to find out from you, the reason behind, because I know as a solicitor firm, specialist in immigration, family law. Um, there are so many things that go on regarding immigrations, so many issues. And usually, when you pick a topic up, there's a special reason why you chose for us to delve into that topic. So, if I may ask, what is the reason behind, among all the questions in immigration,
Yeah.
you chose to talk about people who can apply for the right of abode to the UK?
So, in regards to the right of abode, I don't think it's a very well known subject. I think not many people really know much of what a right of abode is. And so I decided that, of course, since one viewer was asking about it, I would delve into that topic because then it will make people aware of what a right of abode is, and other people who may not necessarily have known about it will now be able to even apply for it, um, and then also make others aware as well. So I think it's a niche subject, but once people get to know what it is, then they would be more aware of the fact that maybe it's applicable to them because, of course, not many people may know the history as to what the right of abode is and how it all came about and the rest of it. And it's quite interesting that it is something that has been there for quite a bit. And I think I was doing a bit of research and I was looking into why they even made it law in the first place. And it all sort of generated from the post war era and the fact that there were immigrants being, should I say, allowed to come into the UK for economic reasons. And so the UK just needed to boost the economy again. And so there was an era where they just decided we need immigrants to come and work, and then of course once we have these workers rebuilding our country and the economy again, there'll be times of prosperity. And so you would see that a lot of immigrants who came in after the post-war era may have either applied for indefinite leave to remain, or they wouldn't have done anything because they would have automatically assumed that they would have indefinite leave to remain. And some of them also returned back to their country of origin. And so you would have things like the Commonwealth and Immigration Act, which sort of gave them some rights when they were living here in the UK. And after a period of 5 years, some of them could apply for settlement. So it was interesting just to see how the law came about in the first place and what it means for other immigrants now and those who may not necessarily know that their foreparents or their grandparents may have had that right, and therefore it applies to them as well. So it's an interesting area, and I think that as we delve into it, people will then begin to realize that, oh, it's something that may be relevant to me. Yeah.
Okay. So this takes me to the next question. What is right of abode?
So when we talk about the right of abode, when we look at our Immigration Act of 1971, so this act didn't come into force until January of 1973, and it was seen as the law which will make immigrants who had come here after the post-war era have some sort of right or be able to apply for British citizenship after their period of time here in the UK. So the 1970 Act 1.
Hello, Lawyer Eunice. Can you hear us? Lawyer Eunice? Ladies and gentlemen, I think Lawyer Eunice is I think we've lost her for just a minute. We would just like to take a commercial
Go
break
on.
and we'll be. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, my sincere apologies. There was nothing we could do about that. But yeah, hey, we are back. Laura Eunice, yes.
Yes.
Continue from where you left off.
Yes, so I was saying that a right of abode simply means that a person is exempt from immigration control. So basically, for instance, if somebody has leave to remain, that means that they will have to renew it ever so often. So depending on the rules that apply, the person will have to keep renewing it. But somebody who has a right of abode is exempt from any immigration control whatsoever. So they don't have to apply for leave to enter, or they don't have to apply for leave to remain in the UK, because they have a right to be in the UK, because they are people who are, should I say, seen as British citizens. So they are exempt from any immigration control or rules whatsoever. And so that concept was introduced within the Immigration Act 1971, and it made it possible for immigrants, for instance, who had resided here for some time, working here in the UK, to be able to apply for settlement and to be able to also have that right of abode given to them. And so if for one reason or the other they were settled and they returned to their country of origin and decided they wanted to come back, this right of abode would be made available to them to return to the UK. And so it's quite an interesting area. And I think that as we delve into it, we will be able to see who then comes under this whole concept of a right of abode.
Okay, brilliant. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've just joined us, this is Heritage TV, the Legal Hour Show with your host, Vicky Newton, and our special guest, who is a solicitor and partner at BWF Solicitors. Today, we are, talking about applying for right of abode in the UK. You can send in your questions to us on our social media handles and also on Facebook, where we are live at Heritage TV, and also on BWF Solicitors Facebook page. If you want to call us live on this program, you can call me on 0744 8619 711. The number again is 0744 8619 711. Yes, Lawyer Eunice, I want to know, who is then eligible to apply for the right of abode?
Okay, so as I previously said, this was a concept that was introduced by our Immigration Act of 1971, which came into force in January of 1973. And so you would see that very clearly before most of us who are now living here in the UK, and most of us who may now have British citizenship, they acquired it quite differently back then. And so now we have our British Nationality Act of 1981. And before then, a lot of people who were born in the UK, whether you were born to an immigrant or you were born to a British citizen, you were automatically seen as British because the law said so. So it was great, it was good that people who were born in the UK, for instance, would then automatically have British citizenship, just like in America. But then, of course, you also had immigrants who would come and work and then work for a while and also return to their country of origin. So within our 1971 Act, it says that somebody who, for instance, is a citizen of the UK or colonies. So an example of a UK colony during that time would have been Jamaica. So, for instance, if you were a citizen of Jamaica, you would have been seen as somebody who had come into the UK and therefore you were a citizen of the UK and colonies. And of course, if you were able to show, for instance, that you were living here for some time, even before 1949, and we all know the war ended in 1941. So if you had come after the post-war era and you were living here even before 1949, you would have been able to show that you were a citizen of the UK, which the UK at the time included not just England and Scotland and Northern Ireland. Apparently, the whole of Ireland was part of the UK before 1922. So it was Northern Ireland and Ireland itself, and then you had like the Isle of Man and the Channel Islands being part of the UK. So if you were able to show that you were residing in the UK, which included the Isle of Man and the Channel Islands and Northern Ireland or Ireland itself before 1922, then of course you would have been able to say that because you were such a citizen, if you had attained settlement, then you would have been able to apply for a right of abode because you were living here or you had attained settlement or you were born here before 1949 or you had registered to become a citizen of the UK by that time. And of course, it includes somebody, for instance, who I would say may have been here. They may not have necessarily known that they could have applied for settlement, but because the law at the time made it possible for Commonwealth citizens to be able to reside here and work, after a period of 5 years, if they were able to show that they had worked here in the UK, they could apply for settlement. And in most cases, if they even returned to whichever country they were from, so if, for instance, they returned to Barbados because they were from Barbados, because the law said because they had resided here for a period of 5 years, they would have been able to apply for settlement at the time. And of course, if they had any children whilst they were here in the UK, those children as well would have been seen to be children who were British. And so they could have applied for British citizenship or they could have applied for a right of abode once their parents were able to apply for settlement or their parents had attained settlement. And then you also have people who may not necessarily have parents who were living here, but maybe grandparents who were living here before 1949. So they were citizens of the UK and the colonies, or they were Commonwealth citizens who were residing here before 1973 when the Immigration Act came into force. And those people as well may not necessarily have been able to stay here in the UK after some time, but maybe they had their children here, and their children, of course, as we all know, before the British Nationality Act 1981, if you were born here, you were British automatically. And so because the children, of course, were born here, they became British automatically. And if they took those children back home with them, those children may have had other children. And because they may have also had other children in whichever country of origin they were from, their grandchildren would be able to apply for right of abode if they are able to show that their parents were British and that they themselves were born before the 1981 Act came into force. And so it's quite a broad spectrum of people who may be able to apply for a right of abode under the Immigration Act 1971. And so the concept that somebody may have come into the UK and even worked or may have been settled, or the person may have returned to their country of origin, may not necessarily mean that they've lost every right to come back to the UK, but then there's an opportunity for their children or their grandchildren to come back into the UK, or to be able to apply for an entitlement for a right of abode to come into the UK and to also live and work if they wanted to.
Okay. All right. Laura, if I've got Anna asking if I hold British citizenship and the citizenship of a Commonwealth country, do I need to apply for a right to abode?
So, in Anna's case, of course, if you are a British citizen, by virtue of the fact that you're a British citizen, you automatically have a right of abode. And so it is one of the good things about our British Nationality Act. And so, of course, when you look at our British Nationality Act, anybody who is a British citizen automatically has a right of abode. And so you are exempt from any immigration control whatsoever by virtue of the fact that you are a British citizen. So, notwithstanding the fact that she also has a Commonwealth citizenship. So, in the UK, we don't have any discrimination in terms of people holding dual nationality or having triple nationality or the rest of it. And so our immigration laws, or should I say our nationality laws, are quite flexible in that sense. And so you can have multiple nationalities and not just be a British citizen. And so, of course, if she is British and she also has a Commonwealth citizenship, she does not need to apply for a right of abode, because, of course, she's able to show that she's British. And so, by virtue of the fact that she's British, she can travel in and out of the UK at any point and show her passport as being a British citizen. And when she's going to whichever Commonwealth country that she's from, she would just have to show that passport as a passport of somebody who is of that country's nationality. So there isn't any need whatsoever to apply for a right of abode because she's already British in that sense.
Oh, okay. All right. I've got another question that's just come in. Is it kid? Oh my God. What's the name again? Kenley. Yeah. My parents came to the UK in the 1950s, and I was born here in the 1960s. In the 1980s, my parents then migrated to Nigeria, and we have been living in Nigeria since. Will I be eligible to apply for a right of abode?
Yes. So, as we all know, Nigeria is also a Commonwealth of the UK. So, in this scenario, he says that he was born here in the UK in the 1960s. And because his parents were residing here, I don't know how long they were working for. And of course, because the Act, which is the British Nationality Act of 1981, had not come into force then, any person who was born in the UK at the time was British. And so, of course, he would have been seen as somebody who would have been automatically British by virtue of being born here in the UK. And so if his parents migrated back to Nigeria in the 1980s, of course, he will be able to apply for an entitlement to a right of abode. It's a simple application, and it only takes a few weeks for them to even grant you that certificate of entitlement to a right of abode. And so, if for any reason whatsoever he would then like to come into the UK, all he needs to do is to apply for a right of abode, and then he will be able to come here to the UK and reside. And once he's here in the UK, if he wants to apply for a passport, he can easily apply for a British passport as well, because he has a right of abode. He's not going to be restricted by any immigration controls or any laws to that effect. And so he would be able to travel into the UK with his certificate of entitlement to a right of abode, and then even apply for a passport once he's in the UK. So yes, of course, he will be able to do so. It is different when, the child may have been born outside the UK. Yeah.
I've got a caller on the line. His name is Emmanuel. Hello, Emmanuel.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Good. And where are you calling from?
I'm calling from London here.
London. Okay. Could you please ask your question?
My question is related to being a British here, and I want to invite my family, and it's been declined twice. What can I do now?
Laura, did you hear his question? Laura, did you hear Emmanuel's question?
He wants to invite his family member.
Emmanuel.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Could you please repeat the question again?
Yeah, British citizen here.
Mm-hmm.
Try to invite my family.
Okay. Okay. To the UK.
They've been declined twice.
They've been
due to
declined.
financial insufficiency.
Okay. Okay. All right. Laura Eunice.
The issue now is the people that deal with her when it was in Nigeria. We can't find any document except only the stamp of the British embassy at our passport that we can show that we have applied twice, which was declined.
Okay.
There's not any other document back it up. Is it possible to apply again?
Okay. Hold on, and Laura Eunice will be able to answer.
So I'm assuming that he either has settled status or he's British.
Yes.
And he's trying to invite his spouse to come and live with him in the UK. Okay.
Yeah, and they've been used twice.
Twice.
Yeah.
And of course, it was because of the financial requirement.
Yes. Yes.
And so,
and he said the only proof they have is a stamp on the document. I think that's what he said. Can he? Is there any hope of him reapplying again?
Of course, he can always reapply. But in terms of meeting the financial requirement, I don't know what kind of job he does. I don't know how much he was earning. I don't know what his income is at the moment. So I'm just going to give something general.
Yes. So what is the criteria? What criteria does he have to meet financially?
So I'm sure he knows that he was supposed to meet a financial requirement of 18,600 to be able to bring his spouse here to the UK. But if he could provide more details as to what his income was, what his job was, because some people may be self-employed and they will be relying on their self-employment. Others may be employed and they will be relying on their employment. And of course, if he is self-employed, the self-assessment is done differently because, of course, you want to be looking at the profits earned by that person. And if the profits earned is way below the requirements of 18,600, then, of course, he will not be able to meet the 18,600 specification for each given year. And then you also have those who are employed who need to show that their gross income, so it's not even the income after tax, is the gross income. So if they're able to show that the gross income that they are earning is about 18,600 a year, then they have to provide specified evidence, which includes a letter from their employer and then 6 months pay slips and bank statements to be able to show that, of course, they are able to meet that 18,600 threshold. So, of course, I don't know what his situation was back then, whether he wasn't able to provide all of the evidence for employment or whether he was self-employed. I don't know what his circumstances were. And so, of course, if he's able to call after the program, then we can take it from there.
Okay. Emmanuel,
Yes, please.
you've heard the answer Lawyer Eunice gave you?
I can see as I listen to what all the conversations are taking.
Okay. All right. So
Is it possible to call after the program?
of course, yes. Of course, yes. Yeah, that was her last statement. So what will happen is that at the end of the show, she's going to leave all her details, get in touch with her, and I believe strongly that she'll be able to advise and help you with this situation. So don't worry. You'll be able to reapply again, definitely.
Okay, please, I want you to give me a voice. If possible, send it to my email.
Okay. All right. So text your email address to me, then I will send you all her details for you to get in touch. All right. Thank you so much for calling us. Have a lovely day. Okay. All right. Bye-bye. Yes, so there you are, Lawyer Eunice. Lawyer Eunice, what I wanted to find out is, anybody listening who is planning to put in such an application, what are the required documents?
Okay. So in terms of a right of abode application, depending on, should I say, the reason why you are making the application. So if, for instance, you are saying to us that you're already a British citizen, and so, like I've said, somebody whose parents were living here prior to 1949, for instance, can say that because their parents were a citizen of the UK and colonies, they know that they were born here, and so they are automatically British. Or it could be that they had grandparents who were living here and their grandparents were British, and probably their parents also were born. They also were born before the 1981 Act, and so they too were British. And then, unfortunately or fortunately, they were born outside of the UK, and so because of that, they have been able to derive British citizenship from their parent by descent. And so maybe because of that, they are applying for a right of abode so that they can travel to the UK. And so they're relying on their parents' citizenship to say that they are also British and therefore they would like to apply for a right of abode. In that instance, they are just going to have to provide a copy of their birth certificate or their birth certificate, evidence that their parent was here in the UK or was born here in the UK. And then, of course, if they have evidence that even their grandparent was residing here in the UK and was British, then they can provide that as well. So it helps when you are able to show the circumstances under which you say you are British, and showing some form of British citizenship or birth certificate for yourself and your parent, or a birth certificate for your grandparent, or citizenship for your grandparent, will also help them to identify the link as well. And not forgetting, even after the 1981 Act, the British Nationality Act came into force, somebody who may have been British by virtue of the fact that they had, for instance, had a parent here who was settled, or somebody who had indefinite leave to remain, or somebody who had um, British citizenship at the time, may also have a child here in the UK. And if that child was born at the time that that parent was settled or that parent was British, then of course, we know that from the British Nationality Act, that child who was born here in the UK would have been British. If they were born outside of the UK, for instance, then obviously that child is British, but they would just have to prove that their parent was settled or their parent was British at the time that they were born. And so, of course, that child will also be able to apply for a right of abode to travel to the UK. And so all they need to show is that their parent was settled, or their parent had indefinite leave to remain, or their parent had British citizenship at the time that they were born, and their birth certificate. And usually they want to be able to know that for sure your parent is who you say he is, especially if you were born outside of the UK. So sometimes it helps when you are able to provide other documentation as well. If, for instance, your parent was living in your country of origin before you were born, you can provide evidence to show that, yes, your parent was there. Pictures can help as well, to show that your dad was present at the time of your birth. You can also provide a marriage certificate if your parents were married as well. So it depends on the circumstances in which you are saying you are a person who is entitled to apply for a right of abode. And so, depending on those circumstances, you can provide evidence of the relationships so that they will also assess the evidence that you have provided and then grant you entitlement to a right of abode. Yeah.
So, Loris, we've got another caller on the line. So, hello, caller.
Hello,
Yes, what's your name and where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from UK here.
Okay, and your name is?
My name is Sammy.
Sammy, you are welcome to Heritage TV. You can now ask your questions. Lawyer Eunice is listening.
Okay, I want to ask for people that came to UK before the pandemic and they are stuck here. Is there any plan for them?
Lawyer Eunice, did you get the question? Yeah.
Yes, so he's asking those who came to the UK before the pandemic, is there any plans for them? So, of course, we have our immigration rules. If you came before the pandemic, which started, I would say, generally in January of 2020 last year, then of course you are not somebody who would be classified as somebody who was affected by the pandemic. But if you were here living in the UK, and for instance you came on a visit visa and the visit visa expired for one reason or the other, and you have not been able to return back to your country of origin, the immigration rules are quite clear on who can apply for leave to remain in the UK. So if you have a family member who is a spouse, or you have a child here in the UK who is under the age of 18, who is British or who is settled here in the UK, or the child has lived here for a continuous period of 7 years, then of course you can rely on those family members to be able to make an application to remain in the UK. If you have a basis to say that you have lived in the UK for a continuous period of 20 years because you are above the age of 18, and you are proving to them that because you're above the age of 18, you have lived here in the UK for a period of 20 years or more, you can also make an application based on your private life. So that is living here for at least 20 years. And then you also have an application based on your private life if you are able to show, for instance, you came to the country before you were 25. So you are between the ages of 18 to 25, but you have lived in this country for more than half of your life. So let's say that currently you are 20 years old, but when you came to the country, you were just about 9 or 10 years old. And because you have lived here for more than half of that period of time, so if you came here whilst you were 9, you've lived here more than 9 years. So you're now 20. So you've lived here for more than 10 years. And therefore, you've lived here more than half of your life. And so you can make an application based on your private life because you have been able to show that you are between the ages of 18 to 25. But unfortunately, you haven't got any stay or you haven't got any leave to remain.
I wanted to,
Unfortunately, you're not. Mm.
yeah, what he was saying was those who were stuck after the pandemic. So I don't know what he
Oh, so
means
it's
by
not before the pandemic.
no. Can you explain to us? Did you come on a visit during the COVID or before the COVID and you got stuck?
Yeah.
So did you come as a visitor?
Yeah.
Okay, Lawyer Eunice. So that is it. It's made it clearer. He came on a visit,
Okay.
but during that time, the pandemic, was there, so he couldn't go back because there were no flights
Okay.
moving in and out, things like that. So he's stuck. That's the question he's asking.
Okay, so
How?
because I heard before the pandemic, that's why.
Yeah.
Okay,
No.
so if he came here and then of course because of the COVID-19 restrictions, he was not able to return to his country of origin. So between March of 2020, the Home Office brought about concessions for those who had visit visas and could not return to their country of origin. So if from March of 2020, he is able to show that he was not able to return because he was ill or because of the restrictions in his country of origin, then of course they made it available for those people to apply for assurance or to be able to apply for extensions to their visit visas. And so, as I was saying at the beginning of the program, once you were able to apply, then of course you would have been able to be given that exemption. Even if that person was not able to apply between March of 2020 up to now, and they are able to now return to their country of origin, they are saying that you can make plans to return to your country of origin as soon as possible. But if you applied for the assurance or you applied for the extension by the coronavirus email address that was given, which is the CIH assurance team at homeoffice.gov.uk, then of course, then you can say that because you applied for that extension, that has given you room to be able to remain and make a switch to whichever route you think will be available to you. So those who may not necessarily have applied for the extension, they're saying you can now make plans or you can now make arrangements to return to your country of origin. But if you did make an application for an extension or an assurance whilst the pandemic was going on, then of course you now know that you have the assurance up to the 30th of September, which is this year. So if the one you had before expires on the 30th of June and you still haven't been able to return because you are currently somebody who is, let's say, ill and is suffering from a very long-term illness, then of course you can put in the assurance extension to say that this is what your current situation is. You are not able to go back and you want to apply for the extension after the 30th of September. In the meantime, they've given people like that the flexibility to also apply to switch to whichever route they think they can apply to. And so, like I was saying, people have used the opportunity given to be able to apply to work permit routes, for instance, considering that we were undergoing a lot of should I say headaches with the NHS system, and they needed a lot of health practitioners to be able to help with the burden that the NHS was under. that has helped some people in terms of achieving or being granted work permit visa within the health and care sector. And then you also have people who have been able to apply for student visas to study in the UK as long as they are able to meet those requirements. And you also have people who have family members here who are either British or settled, or children here who may not necessarily be British or settled, but have lived here for a continuous period of 7 years, who have also been able to make applications based on those family members. So, of course, if you were able to apply for the assurance and you still need to be able to apply for the assurance, you can contact the CIH assurance team at homeoffice.gov.uk to be able to request for that assurance. And if you still believe that you have some basis to make an application to remain in the UK, then you can go ahead and do that.
That's great. That's great. Unfortunately, I lost the caller, but I believe that he's listening to us, live
Yeah.
on a platform. So what I'll tell the caller is, Lawyer Eunice will leave her details at the end of the show. Please get in touch with her, and she'll be able to help you. Yes, Lawyer Eunice. I'd wanted to ask this question, but it was related to the question this lady asked in regards to her parents coming into the UK in the 50s, and she was born 10 years later and migrated back to Nigeria. And since then, that's what she's lived all her life. This brings to mind that Windrush scandal, where people couldn't prove that they were born and lived in the UK throughout their whole life. So if you don't have anything to show to prove that you were born here, probably they've lost their birth certificates, and any document that will prove that they were born in the UK, lived half of their life in the UK, but migrated back to to
Whichever
their
country.
parents' country. Yes. How do such people go about it? But this has brought into my mind, that Windrush scandal.
Yeah. And it's very important to also know that a lot of people who are caught up in this, for one reason or the other, they didn't, like I said, they didn't know that they had to even apply for settlement because they thought it was automatic. By mere fact that they had come here to work, they were getting some sort of leave, or they were getting some sort of indefinite leave to remain in the UK. And this was also in regards to the post-war era and the fact that they needed immigrants here to be able to work and to be able to rebuild the economy again. And so you have people, like you're saying, who may not necessarily have the documentation to show that they had parents here who, for instance, lived here for a long period of time, even before the British Nationality 1981 Act came into force. And so you have those generations of people who were living here in the UK, worked here for a long period of time, even more than the 5 years I was talking about in terms of the right of abode. And so if you have people like that who may not necessarily have documentation, maybe not for themselves, but if they could show that for one reason or the other, there was some sort of travel. So usually in cases like that, their parents may be able to show that they traveled back to whichever country they are from, maybe during the 1970s or during the 1980s, or for one reason or the other, they may have photographs of themselves when they were working and they basically were here, living here in the UK. There must be something that will link that person to that parent. And of course, the birth certificate is one thing, and then also the evidence that they know that their parents were here before they traveled back to whichever country they were from. And so there might not be substantial evidence in terms of maybe the work that they were doing. There might not be substantial evidence in terms of the fact that they have a total record of the years that the parents were here, but there might be something like a travel ticket or something
Yeah.
like a picture, something to be able to show that their parents were in the UK at the time, and therefore their birth certificate and any evidence that they may have to show that their parents were living here during the time the
With the
immigration act.
insurance, isn't it?
Oh yes,
Because they
yes,
were working. Mm.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And so they could definitely rely on evidences like that as well. And if they are able to show that their parents were residing here even before the 1971 Act, which is the Immigration Act, came into force, or during the time it came into force, then they can or rely on that to say that yes, their parents were living here. They believe strongly that their parents worked even for more than a period of 5 years, and therefore their parents were able to attain settlement before they left to whichever country of origin they are from. And they are also relying on that fact to be able to even apply for a right of abode to return to the UK. And so we have generations of people who have also lived here in the UK without any status whatsoever, and they've been able to work and live and do as they would, like any British person. And so for some people, they may not even know that they they were affected by this. And then you have those, yes, and then you have those who may, for one reason or the other, have gotten into trouble with the police or with the law, and therefore
Yeah.
they had to be deported. And those are the people who are basically saying they thought that they had a right to remain here until it became clear that they didn't have a right to remain here in the UK. And those are the people who are very angry and very distraught about the fact that their lives have been destroyed because their parents have come, have lived here, worked and toiled, and they didn't get anything for it. And you even have people who are third generation British citizens, as they believe, and they have nothing to show for it. And usually, those parents or grandparents may not have been able to travel because they didn't even have any status to be able to show that they were British citizens at the time. It is when the children are saying we want to be able to travel, we want to be able to do A, B, and C, that they realize that they don't have the documentation to do so, and now they have to provide evidence to be able to show that yes, they are indeed British citizens, or yes, their parents were settled, and the rest of it. And so it became a big issue in terms of those, should I say, citizens who believed they strongly had a right of entitlement to be here in the UK. And
Yeah.
it became very, very hot topic. I think during the time Sajid David was Home Secretary as well. And so it made sense that they would provide some sort of compensation to all those who were affected by the laws that be, and were not able to live here and be entitled to the things that people who are settled or who are British would be entitled to if they were able to show evidence of their British citizenship, or they were able to show evidence of their live here in the UK.
So,
So most people who may have been affected during the Windrush generation or are still being affected by it will definitely have a case in terms of the fact that if they are able to show that they were residing here even before the 1971 Act came into force, then of course they should be able to show that they were residing, living here, and maybe during the time were able to show that they were here for more than a period of 5 years or 5 years or more. And therefore, they believe that they should have had some sort of entitlement to settle here in the UK before they left. And so you have people who will be Commonwealth citizens who will be able to even apply if they were able to show evidence of this. And so, yes, those who are affected during this, should I say, post-war era, because of the fact that they had come to work and to build the British economy, may now have some means of remedy if they didn't have one before.
Okay, great. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Heritage TV, the Legal Hour show with BWF solicitors. And if you've just joined us, we've been discussing applying for the right of abode in the UK. And with me is the solicitor and also partner at BWF Solicitors, Mrs. Eunice Achampong. And I am your host, Vicky Newton. Lawyer Eunice, I've got another question coming, and this says the person wants to remain anonymous. I was born in Ghana in 1985. My mother is British and migrated to Ghana to live with my father when they got married. We were 4 children in all and have lived most of our lives in Ghana. Would I be entitled to a right of abode, and would any of my siblings who were born after me be entitled to a right of abode?
Okay, so we have someone here who is saying that they were born here in 1985,
Yeah.
and then their parents migrated to Ghana sometime later. And of course, their
Yeah.
thinking is, can I also apply because my parents were here beforehand, and I believe that for some reason I should be entitled to apply for a right of abode. If he can show that his parents were here and they were settled, or that his parents were British at the time that he was born, then of course he can apply for a certificate of entitlement to a right of abode. So if he's saying that his parents, yes, they lived here, yes, they were British, or they were settled here in the UK before I was even born, then of course he will be entitled to. But if he can't show that his parents were settled or British, because we have the British Nationality Act of 1981, which removed people's automatic right to British citizenship by being born here in the UK. So it no longer became possible to be automatically British by just being born in the UK. And so when the 1981 Act came into force in January of 1983, all those who were born after that time could not claim British citizenship. And so if he was able to show that his parents were British or settled under Section 1 of the British Nationality Act, then he can go ahead and apply for a right of abode. And his siblings, therefore, can also apply for a right of abode in that instance. But he has to be able to show that his parents were British or settled before his birth or before their birth. Yeah.
Right. I think that is all the questions I have from my end. Do you have any questions on the BWF solicitors platform? If not,
No.
then we'll that. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, you have that. All right, that's fine. Before Lawyer Eunice rounds up and leaves her contact details, may I also remind all of you that BWF solicitors also broadcasts a live Facebook program titled The Community and the Law. It comes on every Saturday at 4 p.m. on their Facebook page at BWF Solicitors. Today's topic is, did you know you can still apply for leave to enter or remain in the UK as the spouse of a relevant EEA citizen? If you are interested in this topic, don't hesitate. Make sure you jump on the BWF Solicitors Facebook page at 4 p.m. and you will have another seasoned solicitor and also a partner at BWF Solicitors, Lawyer Richard, who will be answering your questions. So just I'll be there to listen to um, this topic as well. So I will endeavor all of you to jump on at 4 p.m. So Lawyer Eunice, if you wouldn't mind, round it up in summary and give us your details for those who would like to contact you after this program.
Okay, so we've been speaking a lot about a right of abode to come to the UK, for instance, for those who may have parents or grandparents who were either born in the UK or were settled in the UK or may have even registered to become citizens whilst they were in the UK. So it may not be that these persons who are looking to apply were born in the UK. They may have been born outside of the UK, but they have some links in terms of the fact that they know their parents were settled, or they know that their parents were living here in the UK, or their grandparents were here in the UK even before January of 1949. And so if you fall into this category, or you believe that your parents were British or settled even after the British Nationality Act 1981 came into force, then of course you may be somebody who is applicable to apply for a, right of abode to come and stay in the UK and be exempt from any immigration control whatsoever. I know that a lot of people may not know much about this, but if you believe that there is some sort of link, or you think that there might be some sort of interest in it, and you may know somebody who has some ancestral line or something which shows that their parents or their grandparents were here and they were settled, or they were British, or they had come and they were entitled to settlement at the time, then of course do get into contact. And as Vicky said, we do not only look at immigration issues, we also look at family issues, and we also look at things like civil litigation matters and employment issues as well. And so if you have any other issues in terms of your circumstances, please do not hesitate to contact us or myself. My number is 075 3581 3910. So my number again is 075 3581 3910. And I work with BWF Solicitors, and we are located in London on the 4th floor of Anna House, 214 to 218 Tottenham High Road, London. Our postcode is N15 4NP. So it's N15 4NP. And our contact number from Monday to Friday, 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. is 0208 493 7340. So it's 0208 493 7340. Thank you.
Great. Laura Eunice, as I always say, we very much appreciate your time coming to educate us and also, answer people's questions. Putting their mind to rest that there is hope. We thank you so much. We very much appreciate your presence every Saturday at 12 noon. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any further questions or you are not clear on anything that was discussed today, I would advise you contact BWF on our screen. I've got the number on the screen. Contact them on these numbers and they'll be very glad to help. They have a large number of team and seasoned solicitors who work together and will be able to help you to resolve all your immigration issues. So on that note, I would like to say thank you for tuning in and staying with us throughout the program and sharing to all your contacts. Definitely we'll see you again next week, same time. But I'll also be coming on at 2 p.m. with another guest to talk about church. So if it's something that you are interested in, jump on again at 2 p.m. and I'll have some guests on my show. Thank you. And lastly, oh my God, forgive me, my sponsors. I nearly forgot. Thank you so much to all our sponsors. Without them, we'll not be able to come your way live every Saturday. A special thank you to BWF Solicitors, Victim Estates Limited, and Eagle Heights International School. I pray that you take good care of yourselves. See you again next week. Bye-bye.
BWF Solicitors, we take pride in our clients' service. As a niche law practice, we are conscious of the demands of our clients. We always offer a friendly, listening ear and sympathetic attitude. We've worked with thousands of people all across the UK in all areas of personal legal services. We have received great feedback and reviews from our clients. We are located at Seven Sisters in Tottenham on the 4th floor of the Anna House, right on top of the Victoria Line train station for your utmost convenience. We have a friendly office and provide all of the refreshments necessary while you wait to see a lawyer. We are dedicated to our clients and have a successful record of serving our clients. Solicitors of England and Wales are of high quality and are bound by the highest professional standards. We are officers of the court and are bound by standards of integrity, competence and conduct as part of our responsibility to uphold rule of law. Our solicitors and lawyers care about your case and are committed to providing the best possible service to you in the most considerate and careful manner. We hold 2 Law Society quality marks. Law Society accreditation helps to demonstrate that we have attained the requisite standard in the area of law and have the requisite expertise. BWF Solicitors, we're here to help you with your legal services when you need us.
Victim Estates provides professional and reliable service to landlords, investors and tenants. Our mission is to ethically and honestly serve our clients. We won't make promises we cannot keep, rather. We present a clear picture of the reality we can offer. We are here to help you with long and short-term let, property management, cash buyers for quick sales, stock repossession and mortgage arrears. For all your property needs, look no further. Visit us at www.victonestates.co.uk or call us on 07448619711. Victon Estates, your property is our pride.